Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, it's been an interesting news day so far. Dick Cheney died, complications from cardiac and pneumonia. He had had 5 heart attacks in his lifetime and had bad cardiac health. He had pneumonia recently, apparently, and he passed away at age 84. Other news, Elon Musk is facing some headwinds now with regards to his offered $1 trillion compensation package paid over 10 years. The pushback is coming from a sovereign wealth fund, I believe from Norway, and it's the 6th largest shareholder of Tesla shares. And they're basically saying, yeah, we don't want to do this. This is way too much for this guy. There was another fund that owned 0.4% of all the Tesla shares, and they're like on board with it because I think Elon's the guy. All I got to say is don't finance anybody who does Yahtzee salutes in front of everyone. You know, when in doubt, don't support the Yahtzee. Purposely mispronouncing that word. Okay, so that's some interesting stuff. Dan Greany, I'm going to circle back to him. Who's Dan Greany, you ask? Or Greany, I believe is how he pronounces his name. He is a writer for The Simpsons. He's the writer of The Simpsons that wrote the episode where he predicted Donald Trump becoming president of the United States. He has a TikTok page where he put up a couple of videos on when he saw the fall of the Trump presidency, and then a subsequent one on what would happen with J.D. Vance and others in the administration. I have posted those up on my community/posts page in the past. I'll probably do that with this latest one that he put up. And watching some of the videos, he has about 9 or 10 videos up on TikTok. One of them, he's backing away just a little bit from Trump administration being out of power or Trump being gone by the end of the year. Even his first video, he was even saying, you know, I'm not sure about the timing, but I'm going to predict like by the end of this year he'll be gone. He might be moving that to January 2026. He didn't flat out say that, but he said it was his big 2026 prediction was that Trump would be gone. Does that impact the reading I saw where I keep saying that Trump is effectively neutralized? I don't know if I said out of the presidency, but he's effectively politically neutralized by the winter solstice. They could both be true. Trump can still be the president of the United States, but there's so much turmoil and mayhem going on from the release of the Epstein files that he just can't do anything. And he doesn't have the support of Congress. Realizing, of course, that if he doesn't have the support of Congress, he's dead in the water. You can sign all sorts of executive actions, but nothing may ever happen from those. Hang on for a second. Michelle is doing something, I think, with the ice maker downstairs. She's making a racket. Don't think it shows up on the background speaker, but just on the off chance it does. All right. I did message him on one of his TikTok videos asking if he had a YouTube page because I would love to connect his videos, just hyperlink them onto the community page so you guys could go check it out. Oh, okay. So I'm coming up to the whole reason why I'm doing this reading. He just posted up a video. It was intriguing. He was making a connection between the government shutdown, the destruction of the White House, and Trump's ultimate demise. And his connection was that when pharaohs die, they build monuments to themselves, tombstones. And he thinks that the Arc de Triomphe and the big beautiful ballroom on the East Wing is Donald Trump's pyramid to mark his headstone that he was on this planet. And it goes something like this. First off, with the government shutdown in place, Trump, there's really nobody governing Trump. So that could explain why we suddenly saw the destruction of the East Wing of the White House. He also replaced all the members or the key members on the panel that would review the plans for the ballroom and would put the kibosh on it. He replaced all those people so that they would rubber stamp it when it comes time to rubber stamp it. So that's one component. He's basically going to use that ballroom as a monument. The second one, remember he was talking about his Arc de Triomphe, or Trump, if you will, which would mimic the one that you have in France. And he had a small, medium, and large one. And of course, the 2-year-old that he is, he wants the large one. Well, you have to have a triumph, as Dan Greany pointed out, to have that arch mean anything, which could explain the blowing up of boats in the Caribbean as well as now the Pacific, and the military buildup against Venezuela. And if Congress is out, Trump can go ahead and start a war, because he's not going to ask permission. He's just going to go do it. And Congress isn't in session to say, no, you don't get to declare war without us. That's kind of the whole Constitution thing. So Trump would likely want to start a war with Venezuela. Likely, assuming that we don't have a Russia-Ukraine thing, likely it would probably go fairly swiftly. And then he's a military president, a wartime president with a triumph. And then you can build your Arc de Trump to celebrate the crushing of Venezuelan government. Congress isn't there to slow his roll on that, slow his roll on the ballroom. Trump's talking about going to heaven, which means that he knows that he doesn't have a whole lot of time left. And then when he goes, he's, as described by Dan Greany, he's racing through the destruction and building part as fast as he can to get as much done before the Epstein files come out. As he put it, Epstein's don't get monuments. Let's look at the energy around Donald Trump's demise and his mindset, as he knows his days on the planet are likely in the units of months, not years. Okay, entertainment purposes only. Now again, Dan Greany, who is he? He's the writer for The Simpsons. He was the one that predicted the Trump 2016 presidency. He also predicted. Where's it going to go with that? Anyways, that's who he is. He seems really insightful. Things that he says resonate. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mindset of Trump and pharaohs and tombstones. Okay, this is again for entertainment purposes only. Foundation reading is the Lover's card. Yeah, okay. He wants to be remembered fondly. He talks about getting into heaven. If this is not the Adam and Eve card, going into the Garden of Eden, I don't know what else is. But, it's like, I think he's afraid of going to hell. As well he should be, because he embodies all the 7 deadly sins, and if he could have created a few more, he will have done so. And it's a monument to folks. Let's see what we got crossing this. 7 of Swords. He's on borrowed time. And he knows he's on borrowed time. And he knows he's not going to get into heaven because he's a liar, a cheat, a thief, a crook, a traitor. It's like he's trying to sneak his way into the hearts and minds of people. And underneath it all is the 6 of Swords. Yeah, he knows his time is short. 6 months, call it. That type of short. His his boat is crossing the river Styx, and you've got the the ferryman taking him across. I want to see if I get the ferryman's name. Hang on for a second. It's spelled Charon. The CH is a K, like lock, so Charon is the name of the ferryman that takes you across the river Styx. Sorry, bring it back down again. So, yeah. And I guess it was interesting to know that you put a coin in the mouth to get across. If you don't have the coin, then you wander the shores for 100 years. But yeah, I think this is, the afterlife and the memorial. And this is not the life well led. And this is the fear of death that is imminent. Yeah, and it goes really well with this. Nine of Wands. He knows his health is not bad. He knows his mind is failing. He's dreading this. He's been fearful of this for a while here. Current situation is the King of Swords. He's going to do what he's going to do. And if you look at it, he has, by Congress being locked out, by surrounding himself with yes men and putting loyalists in positions of power and authority over the building of monuments, because that commission not only oversees the destruction and rebuilding of the East Wing, but also putting in monuments. He's greased those rails. And generals obey the orders of the commander-in-chief, as long as they're legal orders. So he's put himself in a position where he is commanding with unchecked authority. Keyword being unchecked. There are checks and balances to that authority, but he has put loyalists in there who will not check his authority. Overarching energy is the Ten of Swords. Out of his death will be a rebirth, the rebirth of these monuments. But I think he also knows his time is up. He knows he's running out of time. I realize that's kind of contradicting terms. He's running out of time, and basically his time is up. He's got to move as fast as he can. Lesson to be learned is the Two of Cups, the agreements. He may not necessarily succeed. Or what he's hoping for is that when he goes, that people will decide to say that, yeah, well, this was his vision, we'll continue his vision type of thing. I think that's what he's kind of hoping for. Nobody's obligated to keep it going, but he's trying to get people to finish the job after he's gone. Oh, this is also, I'm sorry, I should also go back. This is his loyalists that he put in place. These are the loyalists on the commission. These are the loyalists in the form of Mike Johnson in Congress that are allowing this whole thing to happen. The outcome is the Queen of Swords. It's kind of, no, he's doing the dictatorial thing. The outcome is, it's kind of his legacy. His legacy is cemented, if you'll pardon the pun, with this. But it may not be the legacy that he wants it to be. Imagine building a monument, a memorial to yourself that is mocked and ridiculed and defaced and defiled. That's, you're building something that was supposed to honor you, and then people treat it with the most amount of disrespect they possibly can. Does that count? I can't even think of a good example of something like that. That might be worth a search. Something where somebody built a an incredible object that's supposed to be memorial, and then have it, I guess, like, wasn't it like a Ten Commandments memorial that people kept vandalizing, knocking over and stuff like that? It would be something like that, but unprecedented. I can't think of anything in this country that would fall under that umbrella. I'm just surprised he hasn't talked about Mount Rushmore some more. You know, there's all that talk in his first administration about putting him up on Mount Rushmore, but I haven't heard about that. Will these monuments be continued after Trump's demise? This dude may stick around just so that these things get built. Lucky us. Will these monuments be continued after Trump's demise? I get the devil card. Corruption. If they're being built with corrupt intent, then I would say yes on that one. This should be a big no card. Let's treat it like it is, even though I associate this curvature. This should be no. They should not be built after his demise. Why is that? The truth, because the truth is revealed on this guy. And it's like with the Page of Wands, it's people talking about his actions. All this information starts coming about his corrupt behavior. It's been exposed. And you start getting all the tell-all books about what a crybaby he was and immature and just this horrible man baby. Knight of Wands underneath it. It'll be like a slowing of like the East Wing. Okay, so like the East Wing, for instance. If they start building that and then he's gone, would they complete it? I mean, you think they would, right? Because you've already started it. But you'd want to make the changes to it to not be his, have his name associated with it. And as wasteful as it seems, you'd almost want to bulldoze it and start again. Kind of like when there's a mass shooting at a school, they sometimes bulldoze the school and then they build a new school there. It would be something like that. I mean, they could end up building it, renaming it something else, and totally redoing the inside so there isn't an ounce of gold leaf found anywhere in the place. But it might very well be that they bulldoze it and start again with new plans and stuff like that. Spirit, anything else you want to share with us about Trump and these what appear to be disconnected items, but really do link together to make a tombstone, so to speak? Or anything else you want to share with us on that? Seven of Wands, fighting from a position of advantage, crossed by the Knight of Wands. There's going to be those who defend his legacy. This was our underlying card in the other reading. Versus those who don't want to go forward with the plan. Or this could be the plan wants to go forward, but there's going to be people fighting it. Basically, there's going to be a lot of opinions around this. Folks are going to want a new start. You don't build a memorial for Jeffrey Epstein. You don't build a memorial for Benedict Arnold. Why would we start with this guy? You know what's also funny? Look at this card. And I didn't even think about this on the last one. Civil War Monument. Think of all the monuments to generals and leaders where they're on their horse, leading the charge type of thing. I think his memorials that he's building for himself are going to go the way of the statues of the Civil War, where people are going to say, "Take the melt that sucker down." We don't want to. We don't want this to represent us. I think this is the fight against Civil War generals. Yeah, we in the past. What else do we need to know? This is kind of post-Trump. His legacy has crashed and burned. Trump Tower has come down. His the whole mythos around Trump has crashed and burned. And while we shouldn't forget the past, we need to go forward with more wisdom than what we were expressing before. You could put up something as a cautionary tale, but nothing that would paint him in a light of embracement of what this guy valued. I was going to say what this guy did. He may help do things that benefit this country as a result of his horrific actions and the backlash from it, but it's more of the cautionary tale of this guy. Overarching energy is the Two of Wands. How do we move forward from this without perpetuate? You don't want to perpetuate Trump and Trumpism. Just like they, Osama bin Laden, after he was killed, he was given a burial at sea. So there wouldn't be a memorial for people to go to worship. In Washington, D.C., they don't want that memorial for him. He can go get buried on his golf course in Bedminster next to his late wife, who allegedly fell down some stairs that she never took. She always took an elevator. Lesson to be learned: death. Yeah, could be the end of an era. Could also be, how do you want to be remembered when you go? He wants statues. He wants bronze statues like Confederate generals. I don't think he's going to get that. Outcome is the Four of Coins. What else do we need to know about this one? It'll be expensive to undo what he's done. But you have to hold on to your values at some point. We know what he's done. Some of the stuff he's done will never see the light of day for you and me. Probably also the amount of money grifted in these projects. It'll have to be publicly funded. He will have raised a bunch of money for it, and there'll be an argument that we can't use those funds because they were for building the monuments, not for destroying them. But you know what? I think a majority of the people in this country will, although annoyed, will be happy to let their tax dollars go to wrecking, balling, and bulldozing a memorial that were put up corruptly for corrupt intentions. We'll see. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.